What's up, good people? It's your boy Carcino here, and there was a bit of a slip up this week. It's a bit of a slip up this week. So, I just want to say, first of all, shouts out to everybody who is subscribed to the page, everyone who likes Carcino for Life. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, get all in, and get all sucked up into what's going on in here. Trying to wait till people get in before we really get to it, Booyah. Straight up and down, like we do about this time. But, yeah, definitely the Verzuz battle with DJ Paul and Bone Thugs, it did better in replay mode. Like, it did some good numbers when it was going down, especially because it represented the Midwest in a way that people didn't really represent the Midwest and the South. And people watched it and gravitated to it. And once the fight, it was the first ever fight on Verzuz, it just went there and it was just a little scuffle. It was enough to shake the pillars. And all the promoters and the tour that they was going to do and everything else, everybody's like, oh, it's in jeopardy. It made a lot of money and a lot of attention on Verzuz and made Verzuz even more larger than what it was. Now, here's the thing that people don't realize. Verzuz signed, or they forgot, Verzuz signed a deal with Apple Music. Apple Music now has mostly a lot of say as to what goes on as they try to structure it as a business. Swizz and Timberland was called sellouts for selling out to Apple Music. And they said, we didn't sell out, we sold in. And a lot of people thought that was the biggest sellout thing that you could actually say to another human being. But obviously they're new to this business. So, anyway, Apple Music is not used to dealing with black artists as far as hip hop, not like on a scale like this. They'll put out their music and make money off of it, but never dealing with them in person and having people there for an event with Triller and everyone else, putting together these pay-per-views and these, streams online for the events, that ends up going viral once it hits social media. Now, Bizzy Bone kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. The Wu-Tang Clan is supposed to be going up against Bone Thugs and Harmony in 2022. And, they're going to have a lot of return situations happen in Verzuz. And they're going to have rematches. Like, people didn't get a chance to play some of their songs that they wanted to play. So there's been talks about doing a rematch with Bone Thugs and 3-6 Mafia down the road. It's not ruled completely out. So it's not like they're barred from ever doing some with those guys again because it made money. So, but yeah, it did scare some of the Apple Music people because they were mostly like, okay, we can't have any fights and we can't go over the time limit. If you do that, then they're going to charge us extra money. And that's what Swizz is like, look, these folks ain't used to dealing with black folks. They don't know how it works. Swizz is open to having this be a real business. It started off with love. It's all cool. Him and Timberland. But the thing is, it's a business and they want to make money off of it as well. So they decided they was going to get the artists some money too, so they can eat and everybody can eat. And they can grow this thing to be as big as, anything they've ever seen. And now what started off as something to entertain people during the pandemic has turned into something lucrative. So they don't even have to produce records no more. They don't have to do anything. Timberland and them, they can just sit back and chill and relax for the rest of their life. But this is what they love. Now, Wu-Tang, yeah, versus Bone Thugs and Harmony. Let's talk about that. That's crazy. Now, a lot of you might think like that's an insane combination to put together, but I think that's a great one. That's dope. Because Bone Thugs got about a lot of members, just like Wu-Tang got a lot of members. I mean, shoot, Old Dirty used to go to jail. Shoot, Flesh used to go to jail. Flesh would be gone. Flesh, man, he got arrested for C4. Who in the world had C4, dog? He had plastic explosives. That showed you the type of level he was on. You feel me? Well, you got to look at it from different perspectives. When they did this Verzuz, they never expected it was going to get this big. See, Swizz slipped up and told Bizzy Bone, which is the worst thing you do, because Bizzy Bone can't hold water. That dude gonna tell it. So I don't know if he was supposed to mention that they are going to try to work with him to do they're going to work with Bone Thugs and Harmony again to try to bring in Wu-Tang versus Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's, to me, I would love to see that. That's going to be a great one. But they talking about, next year doing that. It's a long way off before they go into doing that versus, but who wouldn't want to see that? Because Bone got features they could bring in Mariah Carey. It's so many songs that they didn't do. Plus Wu-Tang, who's gonna really beat the Wu-Tang? It would take a Run DMC, or they could do Bad Boy versus, but it's hard because then you gotta go get Mace and all them dudes, and then that wouldn't even work. You can't do. Somebody said Death Row versus Bad Boy, but if you do Death Row and Bad Boy, half those artists are gone. Like, who gonna be there doing the songs? Bad Boy was more pro-female artist. Death Row was not. That was a major difference between the two. They had women there, and they really didn't champion the women the way they should have. Swizz and everybody else know that Swizz is crazy. He's bipolar for real. Like, 1 minute he's real nice, he ready to go, and then the next minute he's the hardest dude on earth. Like, he's really bipolar and crazy. For real. Oh, sorry about that. Almost fell. Almost fell out of my chair. But bipolar. Nuts. So this is a dream project for them. So I'm quite sure they're going to try to put it all together and make it all happen. Well, you got to understand something. What what do you want to see? Do you want to see the same rendition no more? I want to see some other artists get involved. You will never see Drake on the verses. No, you probably never will see that. Drake would have to really fall off to do something like that. But for some of your favorite artists, like I would love to see Keith Murray on the stage. If they get Keith Murray on stage, woo! First off, I don't know how that would go because the versus battle, when he did the freestyle battle against my man from Onyx, Fredro Starr, that was really like the first versus, but that was like a freestyle battle against one another, you know, and Murray really, it wasn't set up right, but Murray was supposed to take his head off. Then he came back and bodied the track that they did on the, on what's that, the Sprite Cypher. He came and bodied it, as they always do, with Redman and all of those Method Man and, you know, the whole Def Squad came in there and showed, like, and then you start to think, like, man, why these dudes don't have record deals? You know, like what's going on here? Why they don't have record deals? Why are they being prohibited? What did they do wrong? That's when the real questions start to step in. A lot of people wanted to see Outkast versus Wu-Tang. Or what, the Dungeon, with the Dungeon family? And all them going up there, Goody Mob and Outkast going up against Wu-Tang. Okay. To me, I like the Dungeon family. To me, it's a different kind of flavor, different kind of style, but I feel it. You know what I'm saying? I feel it. I'll watch it. But to me, I don't think they can mess with the RZA. There's no producer in hip hop, I think, that can mess with the RZA. A lot of people took the RZA's format and tried to make their own, like Muggs and all these other people. But I'm telling you, these dudes have no idea how musically talented this guy was. He was ahead of the curve. RZA was hearing things that people wasn't hearing and putting it and composing it into a record and making a song and changing it using different octaves and using soul sounds, bringing in with people to sing the hooks over again with a different pain or struggle to it, like Blue Raspberry and Takita and all those, bringing them on the tracks to elevate the music, and it almost sounds like scores to a movie. That's how epic the beats were that the RZA made. RZA got to the point where he was charging people $20,000 a beat, just like Dr. Dre at the time. He had bumped all the way up there. That's how important what he was doing was to the culture. When you had a RZA beat, people were going to buy it. It's produced by the RZA. Oh, I gotta hear it. He made other DJs go to work. They was like listening in, trying to know, how did he cut that in? Like, what did he do? What did he use? Like, the work he did on Old Dirty's album was crazy. Return to the 36 Chambers. You don't know how good that is. You don't know how good that is until you go back and listen to it again. Go back and listen to it again, and you will hear that every song is incredible. Especially if you got it in the car, you got good speakers, and you ride, and you go, oh my God. Everything on here is insane. Then by the time you get to Raekwon's album, it's a story. You know, the Cuban Links is a story. Everything is played out through Ray's favorite movie, which is The Killer. So a lot of them are scenes from The Killer, you know, so it's really played out in such a dramatic way, like themes. So to put that in a versus battle, like Rainy Days, you know, the singing just brings it out with the rain. You could actually think of somebody raining and they actually kicking in on them rainy days. I remember I was about to jump. My boy told me he didn't like rainy days. I almost jumped out of the chair and choked him. That's how. It was serious. My cousin was there too, and he was about to do the same thing. It was like about to start a fight. He was like, "Man, yeah, I ain't really feeling that rainy day." What? You ain't feeling rainy days? No, you finna play rainy days. No, you must have got something wrong, man. I don't know what's wrong with you. Yeah, it was serious. You couldn't say nothing like that, because then now you know you ain't being genuine. People would fight you over songs. Just because you said you didn't like the song, it was a problem. But yeah, if Swizz was holding this to the chest, Bizzy screwed that up and let that out the bag. So people are starting to talk about it a little bit, but a lot of people missed it. But I heard him. So let me know who you think will win, Bone Thugs or Wu-Tang. Do anybody believe Bone Thugs can beat Wu-Tang? I got Wu-Tang by a landslide. I don't know hardly anybody that could beat Wu-Tang in a versus battle, period. Because each individual artist can come with their own song. It's just not even fair. The Puff Daddy and the Family comparison, not gonna make it. You could put the whole Rough Rider camp up there, like you said. Not gonna make it. Rockefeller camp, like you wanted to, not gonna make it. Sorry. Nobody. Public Enemy. Ooh. That's a different flavor. But I like it. Okay. Public Enemy it is. Okay, we put PE in there. PE crazy PE. Where's Crazy Louis for the shopping spree? Now, RZA is a fan of Public Enemy. All the beats that they made, Hank and Shock, he grew up listening to them, listening to Public Enemy and what they was coming with in New York, definitely. So he's from that, Hank and Shock, and what they was doing over there with the sounds and the drum and how it was like wartime every time you heard a song, but it was the message and everything in it. And songs that got swept under the rug, like Cold Lamping. RZA actually put that in the movie he did with Forrest Whitaker when he was the samurai in the neighborhood. You know, and I'm like, what in the world is this? So RZA and Forrest Whitaker walking around with a katana, and he in here slicing people up. You know he wrote this when he was high, but the RZA got the movie made, and he put it out, and people watched that movie and crack up. And I knew everybody who got high with Ghost Dog, man. Put that Ghost Dog on with Forrest Whitaker. That's like my favorite Forrest Whitaker movie, man. Put that Ghost Dog in there when he in the hood slicing people with that sword. And the RZA did the music. Dude, people like the RZA didn't even know the RZA had anything to do with anything. They just loved that movie. Because they high, and this is like, man, you know, be dope if Forrest Whitaker Had a sword. You can see the RZA coming up with that. Yo, I was thinking, like, if we had something like Forrest Whitaker, you know, yeah, like if he was like he had one of them Hamadi Katsudi swords, yeah, you know, just cutting off heads, man, that'd be like ill, like bong bong. Yo, he just be like just going through the hood, you know, like just cleansing the whole hood with a samurai sword, and he respected. You know what I'm saying? We call him like Ghost Dog. Man, that's ill, son. You know, it's like, you know, he's like a rebel with a cause. Yeah, but he in the hood though. Yeah. That's crazy. I'm with that and all that, right? Man, next thing you know, Ghost Dog exists. I watched Ghost Dog and I'm like, this is the craziest movie I've ever seen. They got a mob guy in there. He's taking out the mob with a samurai sword. And you got the mobster in the bathroom singing Flavor Flav, Cold Chillin'. Cold Lamping. I said, this movie is all over the place. But I enjoyed it. So anyway, let me know who you think gonna win. Don't forget to hit up the super chat, like the video. That's right. My Cash App is Carcino. If you want to hit up my Cash App, my Patreon is Carcino for life. That's right. For life. And we did talk about Slim Foe, and I'm like, this dude talking about this, man, I'll let y'all listen over there, because I got to answer to him. Because this dude talking about it was over some girlfriend thing. I'm like, what? What is he talking about? So anyway, I got to get over there, back in the Patreon, and start talking with them. But I'm out. Deuces.